Welcome back to the Budget Gamer channel. Today we're going to be looking at a game called Chicken Assassin Reloaded, and while the trailer footage completely sold me on the game, the actual gameplay is a little bit different. Chicken Assassin Reloaded is modeled after a typical beat-em-up style game, but with some unique innovations that some might like and some might not really care for. The story's pretty simple. You play as a bare-fist brawling rooster whose arm candy was stolen by some rich guy, and he's fighting everyone he can to get her back. But while being modeled after a typical beat-em-up style game, some of its innovations may or may not be well received by fans of the genre. The gameplay is partitioned off in multiple stages, each stage having multiple rounds within. The onslaught of enemies from both sides of the screen through 20, 30, 40, 50, and unlimited numbers of rounds are where the player would really get to immerse themselves in that beat-em-up style gameplay. But the combat mechanic actually resembles those early NES Classics Olympics games where you merely have to smash a button as many times as you can to get your runner across the finish line. In Chicken Assassin Reloaded, you use the left thumbstick to line up a cursor over the enemy you're attacking, and you mash the crap out of that A button as fast as you can for all of your attacks. The result is damage done per tap, with the main character's sprite flailing around with a random assortment of attack animations. So if you're playing on a pro controller and you manage to mash that A button like an angry woodpecker, you can actually get through a lot of the early levels very well under-equipped. However, it's the equipment and even costumes that are unlocked through gameplay that really will make it possible for you to get further in the game. In addition to the 4 different types of stat boosting items and the mix and match costumes, which also affect your stats, there are a series of purchasable modifiers not only for your actual attack in gameplay, but for the currency itself. The currency in the game, oddly enough, being souls for some strange reason. As you button mash attack your way through all the enemies in the various levels, they'll drop little blue beads, which are souls to be able to spend on unlockables or items or upgrades in the game. Should you not feel like button mashing enemies to death to get a few extra souls to spend, you can button mash a cauldron to death at the home screen to suit your financial needs. The unlockables that you can spend these souls on range anywhere from modifying your HP, defense, or attack to unleashing an autonomous drone that will attack enemies on screen for you. They can also be reinvested in modifiers that pertain to the currency itself, with dozens of options including increasing the range at which souls are drawn to your cursor to increasing the actual values of the souls themselves. An additional achievement dynamic in the game can also provide you with a massive wealth of souls to use, rewarding you with souls for types and numbers of enemies beaten, as well as the amount of souls you actually managed to collect. And compiling all these elements together makes a pretty simple and pretty fun game. But there are certain design and production touches that are really lacking, such as the absence of music anywhere other than in a fight. When you're in the home screens changing your costumes or modifying your items, you really don't notice it, but as soon as a level starts, you start to realize the absence of music, and then it becomes a real distraction, because randomly injecting music really throws off the aesthetic balance. The sound quality again comes into critique between stages. Each stage is introduced by a new and unique cut screen, with the monologue being produced by a highly modulated e-reader voice. Now, I'm not sure why this was seen as the best choice, because in most cases you can't actually even understand what it's saying. And though it's matched with text, in many cases the text is stretched or tilted in ways that you can't even read it. And while neither of these elements involving sound really dynamically affects gameplay per se, it is a way that really pulls the reader out of the fun experience. In the beginning of each new stage, instead of being engrossed in the new level and wondering what I was about to get myself into, I found myself focusing on why in the world they would use an e-reader voice, or why they would stretch the text to a length that I couldn't even read. Other than that, the actual gameplay mechanics being so simple and being released on the Switch platform, you would think that it would have some sort of touchscreen mechanic. After all, it's as simple as moving a cursor and tapping on the enemy, so I'm not really sure why that wasn't a choice in development. Overall, I'd have to say that Chicken Assassin Reloaded is a decent casual game, but it's really nothing to write home about. If a patch was ever released to inject some audio or some touchscreen integration or fix the clunky scrolling through the menus, this could actually be a really decent game. But considering that there are a lot of other beat-em-ups, shoot-em-ups, and hack and slashes on the Switch already, maybe just wait till this one goes on sale. Well, that about wraps up the review of Chicken Assassin Reloaded. If you enjoyed the review or found it helpful, feel free to throw me a like to show your support, and if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. These videos are coming out about 3 times a week, so feel free to click that little bell icon right after you subscribe to get notified as soon as they hit YouTube. Anyway, this has been Budget Gamers. As always, thanks for watching.